Yes, now, bless now. Don't forget to rest now. There's ROCKSTEADY at KOTP TV signing in and signing out as we had just listened to the record Slaughter in the Vatican by Exhorder. My very first time listening to Exhorder. It was recommended on the Patreon by my good friend Nick, who's put forward some fantastic metal records as of recent and as of ever since our communications. This being no different. This was, man, let's be real. Let's be real. I've got a broad understanding, right, of metal and punk music. Those two genres in particular are root genres. I mean, you could argue that rock was like the root of both. So them two particular categorizations of music and that which stems from the metal and the punk and those in between, I've got an extensive knowledge on the music that exists relative to your common person, right? So that makes me a self-appointed spokesperson in saying this band, at least this record, is metal. It's metal. There's no dispute about it. No one's ever going to say, oh, that's not a metal band. Oh, that's this band and that's that band. Oh, this is the genre of this band. Nah, this is metal. This is metal for the metalheads because it's not critically acclaimed, sellout, mainstream, albeit signed and put out by Roadrunner. It is mainstream in a legitimate sense. But as far as a community sense, this is an underground, extreme metal band. I had never listened to Exhorder in my life. I don't even know what other records they got. You might show me a bit of album artwork and I'll say, oh, I know that album artwork. But other than this record, I've never come across this artwork in my life. Never come across anybody referencing this record in my life. All of the comments are just flooded with Pantera, 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 Pantera. There's no Pantera in the record. The vocalist, yeah, comes across a little bit more Phil Anselmo-esque. I came across one comment that said Phil was actually in the band at one point. You tell me. Nobody was debating him on the truth of that. What did he do? You tell me. I can't see Phil playing an instrument. Did he do the vocals at one point? Was he? He wasn't on the vocals on this record, was he? Was he? Because everybody was saying this influenced Pantera, and no doubt vocally, yes, but you can't help the vocal cords. You are genetically given. There's a lot of people who sound like a lot of people when they perform in a particular style or have a particular act behind them. I know it's quite literal because people are saying like Pantera were actually influenced by this act. Yeah, okay, I get that. But you can't say, oh, this is like a band Pantera ripped off purely because the vocals sound like. Bruh. Like, you listen to any act and they're not going to be completely unique. Moving on to the album. It was good. Somebody said this album needed a remaster. It does not. It does not. This album is good as it is. Well produced, well mastered, in my opinion. Engineering is good. Instrumentally speaking, there was no issues with any instrumentation. Or still talking on the sound production, there was no issues with any instrument on the record. Guitar sounded okay, and I say okay, I don't say great. The guitar tones are not necessarily what I'm into. Overall, the production was quite gritty and dry. It was very death metal a production because it was quite bass heavy. The guitar tones dry. Not much pillow softness to the record. Just, it is what it is. Here's some riffs. Without the like overdose on, oversaturated distortion and whatnot. Which is what I like. So, and when I say what I like, I mean I like that pillowy softness. So it's a bit contrary to my general tastes. Because like that old school traditional metal sound isn't really for me too much. You know? I like that Swedish stuff. That just as opposed to like the tightness what you get from records like this. Comes with an incredible amount of tightness, but I like the wall of sound, you know? It was good. Drumming was good. Riffs were pretty good. I can't fault the riffs. This band sort of existed a little bit more so heavy metal influenced as punk influenced, but wasn't so far into the heavy metal realm that I felt it was a bit, because I like the punk side of things. So I'd say it was probably about like 65, I'd say 55, 45, you know? Because they existed in the middle ground, more or less. There was some good punk, thrash, crossover-esque elements there. Vocally, I wasn't turned off. You know, vocals on a band like this can be hit or miss, but it wasn't too bad. 8 tracks. With 8 tracks come relatively long songs, which aren't my favourite, but with 8 tracks, I think that's the optimal amount of songs on a record. I've learnt that during the recording on this channel. 8-track records are perfect. Perfect. Like, there's nothing better. All of the best albums have got 8 songs. That's facts. That is facts. That's facts. So I think the length of the record was good. There's no low points. There was no bummy tracks. They were all good, all consistent. Now, with that being said, I'm going to give this record a 6.5 out of 10. It's not for me because it's a bit more heavy metal adjacent. But I do think it's a great record. You know, don't listen to me on my score. It's my personal taste. And if you follow this channel, you'll know how critical I am on my ratings. And I'm only going on a 7+ if I'm finding replay value. For me, this does fall into a box with great metal bands, but great metal bands as to which, let me tell you some so you know the category I'm putting this act in. Death Angel, Pestilence. Although Pestilence were very good, I'd argue Pestilence might have been a bit better. I've only heard a couple of records by Pestilence so far, but still the sound. I'd put Pestilence in there. And you know, I'll say this because we listened to some Exodus, but this is like adjacent to the 85 sort of Exodus, right? This is like a Bonded by Blood, dry, gritty sounding. This sounds better than that, no doubt, but just so you know where I'm coming from. So I'm not saying the record's bad whatsoever. It's good quality, high tier, metalhead, quality metal. It's just not my particular taste, so that's why I give it the rating it is. And with that being said, I'm signing out. One love, people. Peace.